Johnny Carson's hand lifted from his cue cards. The woman across from him, America's most beloved comedian, was crying. The live broadcast had ended, but Lucille Ball refused to leave. "Please, Johnny. Please listen," she whispered. "Everyone knows Lucy Ricardo, but nobody knows the real Lucille." It was 11:47 p.m. 4 crew members waited in the studio, and then Lucille said something that made Johnny's face go white. What was said that night at NBC would remain secret for 40 years, until a tape was found. To understand this story, we must go back to that year. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz created ILoveLucy. It wasn't just a show. They founded Desilu Productions together. First episode, 11 million viewers. 6 months later, 40 million. But their marriage was a disaster. Desi was handsome, charismatic, and an alcoholic. Different women every night. Extras, waitresses. Lucille knew. "I remember Desi's perfumes for years," she'd later say. "Every woman had a different scent. He'd come home Sunday mornings without even showering. And Monday I had to kiss him on camera." 1960, she couldn't take it anymore. They divorced. But Desilu remained. Desi said, "You can't run this business. Women don't understand money." Lucille paid him $3 million and took the company. 1962, Hollywood's first female studio head. Everyone applauded. Powerful woman. Nobody saw that Lucille cried every night. Her relationship with her children was worse. Lucy and Desi Jr., both TV babies. But the real Lucy was never there. Sets, meetings, sponsors, nannies raised them. "My mother was more real on television," Lucy would say years later. At home she was silent, distant. "I knew her from TV." Desi Jr. resembled his father. Same charm, same addiction potential. Alcohol at 16, cocaine at 18. Lucille was desperate. "My son looks at me and sees Desi," she told her therapist. "I look at him and see everything I lost." By 1974, Lucille was 63. From outside, everything was perfect. Here's Lucy in its 3rd season. Desilu still active, Beverly Hills mansion. Reality was different. Desilu was failing. The TV industry had changed. Big studios were swallowing smaller ones. Late 1973, the accountant said, 2.3 million in debt, bankruptcy in 6 months without payment. Lucille ran to banks. Same answer everywhere. "Bring your husband. I've been divorced 14 years. Then you need a male partner. You're an entertainment person." That day Lucille cried for hours. Desi was right. CBS was pressuring her. Here's Lucy was losing ratings. Producer Tommy Thompson. "We need younger, more dynamic, more physical comedy. Like ILoveLucy, fall, stumble. I'm 62. I have arthritis in my knees. Then maybe a different direction. Message clear. Adapt or leave." Every week. Scripts. Lucy falls. Lucy tumbles downstairs. Lucy falls into cake. Funny at 45. Painful at 62. But she had no choice. Desilu failing. Kids therapy bills. 40-person crew depending on her. Every Monday she became Lucy Ricardo. Johnny Carson show invitation came October 9. Producer Fred de Cordova. "Let's discuss Desilu's management story. You as a female entrepreneur." Lucille's heart jumped. Finally recognized as a businesswoman. But a voice inside whispered, "What if they don't take you seriously?" 3 days before, her assistant Wanda found Lucille on the floor. Collapsed, no makeup, first time in On the table, a bank letter. Final payment warning. 23. Deadline December 15, 1974. Wanda read it, hand trembling. 2 million, 2.3 million, Lucille said flatly. "Banks won't give it. They say call your husband. But because I'm a woman, I don't understand money." Wanda sank down. "What will we do?" Lucille laughed bitterly. "Monday I'll go on Johnny Carson. I'll smile. I'll be funny. Because if Lucy doesn't fall, America gets sad. Maybe if you tell Johnny the truth. Johnny's a man. Men don't listen to women. They just laugh at them." Door closed. Rain hit the windows. Lucille cried silently. 2 days before, the phone rang at 2 a.m. Desi Jr. Drunk, broken voice. "Mom, I used again. Cocaine." Lucille sat up. "Where are you?" "I'm coming." "No, you were never there. Always at the studio. When I was 2 you used me on TV. Baby Ricky. Maria raised me. You were only mom when cameras were on. Desi, please, don't play mother now. Dad's dead to me. So are you. Love your television." Click, phone died. Lucille looked in the mirror. A 63-year-old woman, swollen eyes, messy hair. "Who is this?" She went to her makeup table. applied lipstick, false lashes. 5 minutes later, Lucy Ricardo smiled back. Perfect. America likes this, but tears were flowing, ruining the rouge. She sat like that until morning.
One day before.
CBS meeting. Producer Tommy, October ratings are bad. 17.2. Last year we had 22.4. ABC's Happy Days is crushing us. Lucille, it's the scripts. I'm 62, falling into washing machines isn't funny anymore. CBS exec Richard, in ILoveLucy you fell every week. The Chocolate Factory episode. Legendary. That was 1952. I was 41, now I'm 62 with arthritis. Tommy lit a cigarette. Give us a solution, otherwise we cancel in December. Paul Morton placed a photo on the table. A young woman 28-30, brunette, smiling. Sally Struthers, 29 years old, new generation comedy, fresh, dynamic. CBS offered her a sitcom. Maybe instead of Here's Lucy. No. Lucille slammed the table. This show is mine. I've been on TV for 23 years. Calm down, but we need more physical comedy. Lucille took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking. Fine, I'll do it. I'll fall, stumble, whatever. As she left, Paul and Richard whispered, if Desi were here, there wouldn't be this many problems. Women can't manage. Too emotional. Lucille heard. She turned. Did you say something? They froze. No. Because I heard, Desi sold me the company. I produced Star Trek. But you still say a woman can't manage. Get in the elevator. She ran to the bathroom. Cried for 20 minutes. Show day. NBC Studio 1. Costume rehearsal. Lucille in red dress. Heel. Fred de Cordova. Johnny will ask about Desilu. You'll get excited and stumble from the stool. Funny. Rehearse? Lucille climbed the stool. Her legs trembled. Fred, now get excited, and Lucille stepped to the edge. Lost balance. Heel slipped. She really fell. Right wrist hit the floor. Crack. She rolled sideways, groaning in pain. Lucille. Fred ran over. Set nurse Linda. It's sprained. You need to go to the hospital. No. Lucille. This is serious. No. The show's tonight. I'll be on stage. If I cancel, CBS cancels the show. They'll bring in a young actress. Desilu will fail. She stood up, wobbling. Bandage it. I won't show it on stage. 30 minutes later, wrist wrapped, glove on, painkillers taken. Let's continue. The light in her eyes had gone out. 200-person audience. Theme music. Johnny took the stage. Tonight's guest, Lucille Ball. Lucille entered. Red dress, perfect makeup, smile. Standing ovation. She sat in the guest chair. Her wrist hurt. 24 minutes went perfectly. Johnny asked questions. Lucille made jokes. Audience laughed, but Johnny noticed. Her laughs were mechanical. Her eyes empty. She kept gripping her right hand with her left. During commercial break, Johnny whispered, "Are you really okay?" Lucille robotically. Of course, Lucy's always okay. But her voice trembled. At 11:39 p.m. the theme music started. Lucille Ball. Thank you. Applause. Cut. Lights dimmed. Audience began leaving. Everyone prepared to go, but Lucille didn't get up. She sat in the guest chair, staring into space. Johnny turned. Lucille. Everyone stopped. Lucille raised her head. Makeup started running. Tears, and she began to cry. Sobbing. Shoulders shaking. She covered her face with her hands. Johnny panicked. Pulled his chair closer. Lucille, what's wrong? Fred, maybe a break. No, Lucille said, voice cracking. No, Fred, please. She turned to Johnny, eyes red, mascara smeared. Please, Johnny, please listen. Johnny dropped his cards on the floor. I'm listening, Lucille. Only 6 people remained in NBC Studio 1. Johnny Carson, producer Fred de Cordova, sound technician Jerry Bloom, cameraman Phil Hahn, lighting tech Dave Moss, stage assistant Amy Reed. Lucille Ball still sat in the guest chair, makeup ruined, hair disheveled, red dress looking pale under the lights, her right hand trembling, that sprained wrist, eyes bloodshot. Johnny Carson had pulled his chair close to Lucille, 3 feet away, cue cards on the floor. His mic was on. Everyone in the studio could hear. I'm listening, Lucille, Johnny said, voice low, sincere. Lucille took a deep breath, her hands clasped in her lap, right hand gripping left, trying to control the trembling. She raised her head, looked into Johnny's eyes, and began to speak. Desilu Productions, the company that produced Star Trek, one of the biggest TV studios. Me, Lucille Ball, running it. Feminist icon, right? A bitter smile. Johnny waited silently. Desilu is failing, Johnny. I'm failing. Silence in the studio. Fred de Cordova leaned forward. What did she mean? Lucille continued. $2.3 million in debt. Banks are calling. I have to pay by December 15th or bankruptcy. The studio will go, my crew will be jobless. Star Trek rerun rights, all gone. Her voice rose slightly, anger mixing in. And you know what I did? I ran to banks, applied for credit. Every bank gave the same answer. Bring your husband, Mrs. Ball. I said, I don't have a husband. I divorced 14 years ago. They said, then you need a male partner, a business guarantor, because you're an entertainment person. Johnny's face hardened. Entertainment person. Yes, Johnny. Entertainment, clown. Funny Lucy. I produced Star Trek. I produced Mission Impossible. I bought Desilu from Desi, because he was busy with alcohol and women. But now they look at me and see, a woman. Women don't understand money. Her hands became fists. Voice trembled, but continued. The man at First National Bank, Mr. Henderson, looked at me and said, Mrs. Ball, maybe your daughter Lucy's husband can help. Johnny, they told me to make my own daughter's husband a business partner, because I'm a woman. Silence. Fred had lowered his head. Johnny's jaw was tight. Lucille took a deep breath, continued, softer now, but pain in her voice. And I go to Desilu every day. Employees smile. Good morning, Mrs. Ball. None of them know they might be jobless in 6 months. Accountant Arthur comes every week, showing papers, red numbers, and I don't know what to do. Her voice broke. She stopped. Deep breath. That's it, John. That's the powerful woman. Failing, but nobody will help her because she's just funny. A few seconds of silence. Lucille opened and closed her hands, then continued, but now her voice was softer, fragile. And Johnny, my children. Her eyes filled. She lowered her head. Last night, no, this morning, at 2 a.m. Desi Jr. called. My son, 21 years old. He was drunk, crying. He said, Mom, I used again. Cocaine. Johnny, my son is an addict, like his father. Desi's ghost is following him. She stopped. Tears ran down her cheeks, washing away remaining makeup. And I can't help him, because I was never there. When Lucy and Desi Jr. were born, ILoveLucy was at its peak. Every Monday morning I'd go to the set, wouldn't come home until Friday night. Nannies raised my children, Maria, Consuela, Margaret. I was more of a mother as Lucy Ricardo, perfect mother on television. Dinner always ready, always smiling, kisses for Ricky Jr. Bitter laugh, but in real life. By the time Lucy was 8, she saw me 4 hours a week, and in those hours I was tired, irritated, saying I'm working. Lucy told me at 15, Mom, I know you better from television, that you is more real. Her voice cracked. She stopped. Johnny leaned forward, about to say something, but Lucille continued. Desi Jr. is worse. He looks so much like his father, Johnny. Same smile, same charm, same addiction. At 16 he discovered alcohol, from bottles he found at Desi's house. At 18, cocaine. Desi's friends gave it to him. And I can't save him. She covered her face with her hands, sobbed, shoulders shook. Last night on the phone my son yelled at me. You were never there, always at the studio. When I was 2 you used me on ILoveLucy. Baby Ricky. Everyone knew me, including you, but it wasn't the real me. And he's right, Johnny. I used him as a prop, for ratings, because Lucy's real baby thrilled viewers. She stopped, lowered her hands, looked at Johnny, eyes red aged. I was a perfect mother on television, Johnny. But in real life, I wasn't a good mother. Being a funny woman was more important. And now my son is dying like my father, and I can't help him because he doesn't even know me, she said, the name barely leaving her lips. Johnny waited. I was madly in love with Desi, Johnny. We met in 1940 Too Many Girls movie. He was 23, I was 29, handsome, charismatic, sang Spanish songs. My heart melted. We married November 1940, and I thought, this is it, the love of my life. Bitter smile. How naive I was. Silence. Everyone in the studio was listening. Breaths held. Desi loved drinking, but I thought artist soul. He loved women too. I learned about the first affair in 1942, an extra on set. I cried. screamed, he apologized, said never again, lies. She stopped. Her hands started trembling again. When ILoveLucy started in 1951, we'd come to set every Monday morning. Desi, Ricky Ricardo, and me, Lucy Ricardo. Perfect couple. America loved us. They're really married. The papers wrote, true love. Her voice hardened. Every Monday morning, Desi would arrive having spent the weekend with women. I knew him by his smell, Johnny. Perfumes. Every woman had a different perfume. Friday night jasmine. Probably the ticket girl, Janet. Saturday lilac. Probably someone from a bar. Sunday I don't remember anymore. There were too many. She stopped. Her eyes looked into space, into the past. And when Desi came home, he wouldn't even shower. Straight to bed. And I'd go to the couch, cry. In the morning I'd put on makeup, smile, and when the camera said action, I'd kiss Desi. Lucy would kiss Ricky, and America would laugh. Her voice cracked. Every episode, Johnny, every episode was filmed on top of a betrayal. Lucy Ricardo loved her husband. Lucille was shattering, but nobody saw, because Lucy always had to smile. Tears flowed. She didn't wipe them. In 1960 I couldn't take it. We divorced. Desi left the company, but before leaving he said, Lucille, you can't run this. Women don't understand business. You'll fail in a year. I paid him $3 million, took the company, and 14 years passed. Johnny, Desilu is still standing, but now it's failing, and banks say, call your husband. So Desi was right after all. She lowered her head, and the worst part, Johnny, the worst part is, I still love him. 14 years passed, hundreds of betrayals, but I still remember that man from night playing guitar, singing, calling me Mau Mar, and I hate myself for it. Lucille raised her head. Now there was exhaustion in her voice. And then then CBS comes and says, be funnier. Deep breath. Here's Lucy is losing ratings. Last Sunday there was a meeting. Tommy Thompson, the producer, said, more physical comedy, like ILoveLucy days, fall, stumble, run. I said, I'm 62 years old. I have arthritis in my knees. They said, then maybe a younger actress. Bitter laugh. Sally Struthers, 29 years old. Fresh, dynamic. They showed her photo. Maybe instead of here's Lucy, they said, message clear. Adapt or leave. Her voice hardened. Every week scripts come, Johnny. Lucy falls. Lucy tumbles downstairs. Lucy falls into cake. Funny at 45. Painful at 62. This morning at rehearsal I really fell from the stool. My wrist is sprained. She raised her right hand swollen under the glove. The nurse said go to the hospital. I said, no, because if I cancel this show, CBS cancels Here's Lucy, and I'll be jobless. And Desilu will definitely fail. She stopped, looked at Johnny, eyes to eyes. I'm a clown, Johnny. And clowns fall, clowns suffer, and everyone laughs, because clowns' pain is funny. Her voice dropped to a whisper. But Johnny, I don't want to be funny anymore. My bones hurt. My heart hurts. And I can't laugh anymore. Silence fell. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. Nobody moved. Then Lucille raised her head. One last layer remained. And Johnny, you know what the worst part is? Johnny whispered. What, Lucille? You men only listen to women when they make you laugh. Johnny flinched. Lucille continued, exhausted now but determined. I've sat in this chair 12 times, Johnny. Every time as the funny guest. I make jokes, you laugh. Audiences laugh. But you never asked, Lucille, how do you manage Desilu? How did you produce Star Trek? How did you survive Hollywood as a woman? She stopped. Johnny was about to say something, but Lucille raised her hand. No, I'm not blaming you, Johnny. You're good. But the system works this way. I'm valuable because I'm funny. If I get serious, I become a hysterical woman. If I cry, I'm emotional. If I get angry, I'm difficult. But when a man gets angry, passionate. When a man gets serious, leader. Her voice trembled one last time. I wore the mask for 30 years, Johnny. Lucy Ricardo. Always smiling, always funny, never complaining. And now nobody knows the real Lucille. Maybe I don't know her anymore either. She stopped. Exhaustion. Her shoulders collapsed. That's it, Johnny. That's the truth. And please don't tell anyone. Because if America learns that Lucy is actually unhappy, nobody will laugh anymore. Deep, heavy silence in Studio 1. Johnny Carson, for the first time in his 20-year career, didn't know what to say. His eyes were wet. Not crying but very close. Fred de Cordova had lowered his head. The crew was frozen, and in the sound control room, Jerry Bloom, the 34-year-old sound technician, noticed something. The backup recording system was still running. Backup recording system was still running. The sound control room was on the upper floor of NBC Studio 1. Small, dark room. Dozens of buttons, switches, meter. Jerry Bloom was there. 11 years at NBC. Tonight Show's head sound technician. When the live broadcast ended, he'd shut down the main recording system. Standard procedure. But the backup system, old Ampex reel-to-reel tape, was still spinning. Jerry hadn't noticed at first. During equipment check after the show, he saw it. Red light on. Rec mode active. His heart jumped. He ran to check. Looked at the tape. 30-minute tape, started at 11:39 p.m. So, Lucille's confession. Every word. Jerry hesitated. Procedure was clear. Unused recordings are erased or archived. But this wasn't a recording to be erased. Lucille's voice echoed in his ears. Please don't tell anyone. Jerry removed the tape, held it, heavy, metallic, labeled it, LB, JC, 11, put it in his bag, told nobody. Jerry Bloom retired, lived in a modest Los Angeles home. The tape was there, in a basement box, among hundreds of old recordings. He'd listen occasionally, especially on hard nights. Lucille's voice reminded him, everyone has a mask. March 2013, Jerry was diagnosed with cancer. Pancreatic, 6 months to live. His son Stephen, 41, Los Angeles teacher, visited every week. In June, Jerry told Stephen, go through the boxes in the basement. There might be important things inside. Stephen went a few weeks later, found a box, NBC Archive, 1974-1985, written on it. Inside 40-50 tapes. Most were Johnny Carson show episodes. Production notes. One tape caught his attention. LB, JC 11-11-74, private. Stephen found an old player, loaded the tape, played it, listened for 11 minutes 34 seconds. He cried. Stephen didn't know what to do about the tape. His mother Rachel said, maybe there's a reason he kept it secret. Maybe it shouldn't be released. But Stephen thought, but this is history. People should know. He researched. Found TV historian Prof. Ellen Marsh, at UCLA, expert in women in television. Emailed her, explained the situation. Ellen responded immediately. Can I hear the tape? March 2014, they met. Ellen listened to the tape, in her office. Stephen beside her. Ellen cried, Stephen, this is the most important document in television history. Lucille Ball, America's always smiling icon, telling the truth. Hollywood sexism, motherhood pressure, comedy mask syndrome. This must be released publicly. But my father kept it secret. Maybe he was waiting for the right time, Ellen said. Maybe now is the time. Academy of Television Arts and Sciences held a press conference in Los Angeles. Prof. Ellen Marsh, Stephen Bloom, and Academy President Bruce Rosenblum were on stage. Bruce, today we're releasing a recording that's been secret for 40 years. On November 11, 1974, Lucille Ball spoke for 11 minutes after the Johnny Carson show. This conversation was accidentally recorded and never broadcast. Today Lucille's voice, in her own words, tells the truth. They played the tape. In the hall, 200 journalists, TV historians, academics. 11 minutes 34 seconds. No other sound, just Lucille's voice. Then applause, but sad applause. Many were crying. New York Times, Lucille Ball's secret confession. I was never happy. Washington Post, 40 years later, the truth. TV's queen behind the mask. Variety, Lucille's lost tape reveals Hollywood's dark side. Discussions began. Suffer the most. The impossible balance of motherhood and career. Desi Arnaz Jr., now 61, sober, released a statement. Mom was right. I wronged her. She was always there, but I didn't want to see it. Now I understand. She was a human being, not an icon. Lucy Arnaz, it's been 25 years since we lost Mom, but this tape helped me truly know her. Thank you, dear Jerry Bloom, for showing the world the real Lucille. In 2015, the term Lucille effect emerged in psychology and media studies. Women hiding their real pain under pressure to appear strong and cheerful. Johnny held her, tight, protective embrace. You're a hero, Lucille, he whispered. Lucille rested her head on Johnny's shoulder. No, Johnny, heroes are happy. I just survived. And I'm not even sure why anymore. Johnny pulled back, held Lucille's shoulder, looked into her eyes. Because you're real, and real people can't live without breaking. Thank you for sharing this with me. Lucille smiled, for the first time that night. A real smile. Small, fragile, but real. Johnny, don't tell anyone, okay? I promise. November 12, 1974, Tuesday morning. Lucille Ball returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. CBS meeting. 10:00 a.m. Here's Lucy script revision. Lucille took the stage, smiled, joked. Of course I'll fall. Lucy always falls. Nobody saw the previous night's tears. Desilu office, 2:30 p.m. She looked at accountant Arthur. I handled the credit, she said. A lie. She hadn't handled it yet. But she couldn't bear the worry on Arthur's face. That evening she sat alone at home. The phone rang. It wasn't Desi Jr. He didn't call Desi. Johnny Carson never told anyone that night. Not Fred, not producers, not even his wife. Lucille's secret, he thought. He died in 1992, took the secret to his grave. But Jerry Bloom's tape was waiting. Lucille Ball died in 1989, 77 years old, heart failure. At her funeral thousands carried signs saying thank you Lucy. When the tape emerged in 2014, the world knew her again. Not as Lucy Ricardo, but as Lucille Ball, a real woman with pain, struggle, and fragility. If this story moved you, like and follow the channel, tell us in comments. Which woman taught you a brave lesson? And sometimes the brightest masks hide the deepest darkness.